ufology. It's a really hard.
Do you think
thing.
astrology is legit?
Astrology? How do I explain astrology? I think astrology works on a rhythm, right? Things happen over and over again, right? Things line up over and over again over a certain period of time, right? And most of life works on a rhythm too. So the human brain is trying to make connections.
Yeah, we're all frequency, we're all energy, right?
So the human brain is trying to make connections, right? Where it can find, that's the logic, right? So astrology, like, kind of like becomes like this, like, it's kind of like stocks. Stocks have this high and
yeah, it can make sense, I guess. Right? That's the way the stars line up, the way the planets line up.
Yeah.
All those things.
So it does make sense. We don't have enough science to understand it. If you want to get into like the quantum and
right.
Like intent in the quantum world, it actually has an effect. So it's pretty interesting, right? But going back to the whole like ufology thing, right? You start to learn about something called like this ancient alien theory,
yeah,
right? Where pretty much when you look at the genetic code of humans and you look at the genetic code of primates, when you look at the evolution of each species, you are able to see more or less a complete picture of that evolution. With humans, though, when you look at the evolution of humans, there's this piece somewhere that's missing a couple 100,000 years ago. Don't quote me exactly on the range, but I believe it was a couple 100,000 years ago. So what happened there that caused humans to like jump and go from primate to Homo sapien, right? And scientists can't answer that question, even though all the data is there for the last, 400,000 or 500,000 years. We've been digging up stuff and finding stuff, right? But we can't find that connection. And the theory for ancient astronaut theory is that we were hybridized. We were created for the Anunnaki as a slave workforce, okay? And for many other cultures. Remember that what you see is Antarctica today, right? When the dinosaurs existed, that was at the equator. There is so much buried under there. We have no idea what's there, nothing about it. But if there was a past civilization, advanced civilization on Earth,
so they wiped our memories out. Huh? The men in black kind of.
Let's talk about the biblical flood.
Okay.
Because that's what that,
Noah's Ark
was. Yeah, I think the biblical flood, the way that it's written in the Bible, was an actual, there's scientific evidence showing that there was a widespread flood on Earth, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why we don't see these civilizations anymore. They were wiped out, because of that flood, as a part of it at least, So there's a lot going on there that we can dive into, but specifically when you're talking about religion, the symbolism that is shared between continents from thousands of years ago, the nativity stories, the gods holding the same weird purse, one in Mexico, the other one in, Egypt, right? How do you explain these things? And the only way you can explain it is there's a common denominator between them, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they found something really, really interesting under the pyramids. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they just found, I don't know, things of importance culturally, It's the actual building itself that's exciting. How did they build that? How are you going to explain that off? How are you going to explain digging a hole 2,000 feet into the ground? It's 600 meters. I don't even know. I think it's 3 feet per meter.
Man, so it's so interesting. That whole thing, once I saw that, it was like 2 weeks ago, and then we started talking about the yin and the yang, right? The symbol, right? How old is that symbol?
That yin and yang, it's thousands of years old. It predates Christianity. It predates a lot of things. I mean, and
that's an actual picture of quantum entanglement, right?
Yep.